Greetings, people of the world. Matthew back with you here in Novora Autism for the continuation of Let's Play Final Fantasy XIV, A Realm Reborn. It is day 24 of 75 here for EDSS here in the Realm Reborn, and yesterday we had our first big plot-based boss duel as we took on one of the most famous creatures in Final Fantasy history, Ifrit, who in this game, like other primals, you would probably know them as Espers or Aeons or Eidolons or anything else like that. In this game, they are evil and we have to defeat them. So, having successfully defeated Ifrit, we can now speak with Lady Minfilia to get our next challenge. So, let's see what she has to say. A level 20 challenge entitled, A Hero in the Making. Minfilia is wearing a wry smile. Might it have something to do with your newfound fame? Well, why don't we find out? So let's see what she has to say. Until not so very long ago, you were but one of the many adventurers seeking to make their way in Eorzea. But for your character and courage, you were raised to the esteemed post of envoy. Thereafter you travelled the realm, aiding those in need without thought of reward, confirming to Ida and Popolimo that the Scions would benefit from your aid, and no sooner had you joined us than you personally bested the primal Ifrits. And so, you have achieved a great deal in a short time, and won fame in doing so. Alas, fame does not come without a price, as you will soon discover. Well, of course. So, what's going on, Miss Minfilia? We have guests, Edie, or rather, you have guests. Me? Who, pray tell, are they? Beg pardons. Am I under arrest? Yeah, because these look like a trio of very imposing people. Ah, Lady Minfilia, radiant as always. I'm given to understand that the Scions of the Seventh Dawn have but recently welcomed a new hero into their midst. I am here on behalf of the Maelstrom, Grand Company of Limsa to offer said hero a place of honor within our ranks. Yeah, this is a bit of an encouragement. As you can see, Edie, your recent exploits have garnered you the attentions of the Grand Companies of Eorzea. Each organization would have Ifrit's Bane for its own. To this end, all three have sent officers to court you. Yeah, it wasn't enough to just simply be drafted into the Scions of the Seventh Dawn. Now other organizations want me to be drafted into their organizations. They were not ordinarily go to such lengths to enlist a new recruit. That they have is evidence of their high regard for you. I find myself wondering how word of Edie's deeds spread so quickly. That the immortal flames should know of his triumph is to be expected. But what of the other Grand Companies? Yeah, she is staring at Tataru for a good reason. We'll learn about more about that in a moment. Your reputation precedes you, Master Cess. 'Tis no ordinary man who can face a primal and emerge the victor. And imagine our pride when we learn that you began your journey as an adventurer in our own Gridania. Know that the people hold you in high esteem and that you will always be welcome among us. The Order of the Twin Adder has need of valiant men such as you. Join your strength to ours, friend, and together let us ensure that peace ever reigns over the Twelve's Wood. And then, what a pleasure it is to finally meet you, Master Cess. My comrades speak of you in the most glowing terms. A man of your talent belongs with the immortal flames. Join your strength to ours, friend, and together let us secure a prosperous future for Ul'dah. And as for the third option, the Admiral was not exaggerating when she said you have the look of a hero. Full often does she speak of you, friend. It is only natural that we should want you for the Maelstrom. Join your strength to ours, and together let us see the grand vessel of Limsa to the shores of glory. Yeah, I'm quite shocked by this. Like, Lady Minfilia. Very well. Though I'm quite sure you need no reminding, mayhap a brief summary of the situation help to clarify your thoughts on this matter. As you know, the Grand Companies are all-encompassing organizations empowered to call upon the martial, economic, and technological resources of their respective city-states in times of strife. There are presently 3 such organizations in Eorzea: the Maelstrom of Limsalominsa, the Order of the Twin Adder of Gridania, and the Immortal Flames of Uldar. Serving a Grand Company means serving the nation to which it belongs. You will be charged with its defense and tasked with advancing its cause. In return for your faithful service, you will be furnished with various rewards, some of which may well prove useful to you in your other endeavors. If you are agonizing over which of the Grand Companies best deserves your loyalty, be at ease. The commitment you make this day need not be permanent. Should you wish to shift your allegiance at a later date, you are entitled to do so. And yet I can see that it is no small choice you face. Yeah, no kidding. Ah, a thought occurs to me. You will, of course, recall that the 3 city-states are planning to hold remembrance services. Yeah, it's something we learned about 10 days ago, and yeah, it hadn't happened yet, but now it's going to be brought to our attention that they are about to occur. Well, as part of the proceedings, I'm to understand that the leader of each Grand Company will deliver an address. Hearing these addresses also help make you an informed decision. What say you, my dear officers?
A fine suggestion. You are as wise as beautiful. You are beautiful, my lady. Very well. Let Edie hear our leader speak, then return here with his decision. And so, that is what we shall do. We eagerly await your answer. And they each have their own various salutes. Guys, you're walking the wrong way. Yeah, you're supposed to be heading for the door. No, they're gonna walk behind Lady Minfilia.
I know full well that adventurers are by their nature a liberty-loving breed, and not best suited to the discipline of military service. But I strongly urge you to join a Grand Company nonetheless. While the promise of a reward is enticing in itself, it is not the only benefit. You are possessed of great power, Edie, and with it you are capable of doing untold good. Yet know that great power is wanted to attract attention, not all of it friendly. There will be those who will wish you ill, and you must needs be on the lookout for them. Yet however vigilant you are but one man. In the midst of a Grand Company, however, you will be a one man amongst many, a friend amongst friends. Your achievements will be shared, and so will the danger. I can think of no better arrangement.
Well, if you say so, Lady Minfilia.
Of course, joining one organization need not mean leaving another. I hope that we can continue to rely upon your aid. The 12 know that we will have need of it in the days ahead.
Yeah, just because you join a Grand Company does not mean that you cannot continue associating with yourself with the Scions of the Seventh Dawn. In fact, it is through them that you will continue the main plot.
The Grand Companies seek to protect their own nations. We Scions, on the other hand, seek to preserve the future of Eorzea as a whole. Similar, yet not quite the same. Now then, I expect that you will be afield more often in the future. As such, I would have you carry this link pull with you at all times. It will allow us to stay in touch, regardless of location. Eorzea is changing, Edie, and you have the power to help shape it anew. None can say what the morrow will bring, but so long as we believe in ourselves that there is naught we cannot achieve. Now it is time for you to make ready for your journey. Before you depart, be sure to speak to Tataru. She will apprise you as to where and when the Remembrance services are due to take place.
And so, with all that now established, because yeah, that took no less than 8 minutes to get through. And there's the official quest accepting music, on a bit of a delay. So yeah, these 3 gentlemen will continue to wait here until you render your decision. So, let's... Oh no, we don't want to... yeah, God forbid I'll leave before speaking with Tataru. No, I do not want to do that yet. I do not want to return to New Gridania as of yet. Yeah, I never have officially warped myself or set a new home point, but this is something you will start doing over the course of the... when you get into this part of the game, because as you go along, you will pretty much be expected to be doing one thing at one place or another, and so setting a home point for whatever grand company you ultimately decide upon is going to be very helpful to you. So, let's speak with the Taru. Yeah, because, yeah, we were all looking at her funny.
I'm sorry about all the attention you're getting, Edie. I might have sung your praises a little too loudly, and often, to a few too many people. Next time I'll be sure to hold my tongue, literally if necessary. Anyway, I want you to know where and when the Remembrance services are taking place. If all goes according to plan, Gridania's Grand Company, the Order of the Twin Adder, will hold the first of the 3 services, and Elder Seedseer Kane Senna will deliver her address at Miketo's amphitheater. I should probably mention at this point that due to the organizational challenges involved in assembling all of the involved parties, it's possible that the order of the services might change. Still, there's not much we can do about that, so make Gridania your first port of call. Next, you'll need to go to Uldar, where Flame General Raban Aldin will be addressing the masses at the Royal Promenade. Oh, and it's rumored there's to be a special guest! How exciting! Last but not least, you must make your way to the stateroom in Limsa Luminsa, where Maelstrom Chief Admiral Mulwer Borfiswine will be giving her address. The room is accessible via the Admiral's lift. Identify yourself to the sentry Xanthel, and he'll admit you. Got all that? Well then, off you go. I hope you find the Remembrance services suitably educational. I suggest visiting the city-states in my prescribed order, though with your record of impeccable timing and luck, the schedule may well change in your favor of your preferred travel plans. Farewell! And so, now it's time for us to return to New Gridania. And so, with the magic of return, that is exactly what we shall do. Away to Gridania. We've come back home. And so, it'll be good to see the Elder Seedseer again. And see, because this was her idea after all. And so I guess it's very apropos that this should start with her. So yeah, this day will be pretty much be more about accomplishing things than anything else that are not plot-based. So, we'll now warp ourselves over to Old Gridania, where we will get the opportunity to listen to the Elder Seedseer's words. Yeah, she was the one who came up with this idea, so it's quite appropriate that we start with her. And so, yeah, it looks like a number of people have already amassed, but they're of the various organization. No, they're the various other online gamers. And for those of you who are wondering what's directly ahead of us, that is part of the special seasonal quest that's going on, known as Hatching Tide. You can participate in it, and will get the opportunity to do some fun collecting. However, there's a quest that you absolutely have to have an ally to accompany you with. And if you can't find one, then you won't be able to advance with it. So I'm not really going to bother with EDSS to do the Hatching Tide, but I don't know how many days there are left, but I would certainly encourage you to participate in it. And actually, I know when it ends. It ends on April 22nd. So, yeah, I've wasted enough time. We're here at the destination, so let's clear out the Hatching Tide people and get the Remembrance service underway. I know that sounded rude, but it's not for long. The Hatching Tide people will have the amphitheater to themselves again in a few moments. So, as people from all over Gridania and the Black Shard have amassed, there's Edie.
Some say you couldn't take a step without stumbling over a body.
And lots of people talking about what happened during the calamity. But it'll soon be the Elder Seedseer's turn to do so. And there she is. Milady?
Our forebears were once strangers in the Twelveswood. Fearful of the Green Wrath, they hid themselves in the dark recesses of the earth. Yet they dreamed of basking in the dappled sunlight of the forest. Through great effort, they proved their worth to the elementals, and were granted a place beneath the boughs. So it was that Gridania was born, some 5 centuries ago. Working hand in hand, the Hyur and the Eorzean settlers sowed the seeds of our civilization, and soon they were joined by folk of all races. So nourished by the waters of unity, and blessed by the light of the matron, Gridania flourished into the great nation it is today.
Do you see the Gridanian standard? There, hanging behind the Elder Seedseer.
Yeah, I see it.
The entwined serpents represent the unity between Hyur and Eorzean. An elegant symbol, do you not agree?
Well, depends on who you're talking
In
to.
accordance with the will of the elementals, we have embraced a life of peace. Alas, our neighbors have not always sought the same for themselves, nor for us. Though we Gridanians have no love for war, we have still less for those who would threaten our way of life. Ever have we fought to protect the sanctity of the Twelveswood. When the Garlean Empire brought its war of conquest to Eorzea, we rallied under the noble standard of the Twin Adder that we might push back the encroaching darkness. And it was we who prepared the ground for the reformation of the Eorzean Alliance, that all the peoples of this realm might stand united against the common threat. "5 years ago, the Alliance met the armies of the Empire upon the fields of Cartano. It would prove the bloodiest battle in recent memory. Countless Gridanian lives were lost. As Supreme Commander of the Order of the Twin Adder, ever shall I bear the weight of our people's sacrifice. Alas, their loss was not the only tragedy to befall us that day, for soon came the calamity. The scars borne by our forest are a constant reminder of its violence. Our lives have been irrevocably changed. Each waking hour, a struggle to survive. Driven to desperation, some among us have strayed from the path of righteousness, resorting to banditry, poaching, and other unconscionable deeds. To compound our woes, the Ixal have returned in force, emboldened by our suffering. They test our defenses nigh without cease, and prey upon the vulnerable. So beleaguered from within and without, it is of little wonder that our unity now falters. Dark times are upon us.
Time was a man could walk the high roads without fear.
On this day, 5 years ago, countless Eorzeans laid down their lives that we might behold another dawn. Please join with me in honoring their memory.
And how do you propose to honor the memory of those you cannot remember, pray tell?
Yeah, these two are twins, but one of them is an evil twin.
The destruction wrought by the calamity was indiscriminate. It dealt death to Eorzean and Garlean alike. Yet while we have labored to rebuild our homes, to rebuild our lives, the Empire has set about raising steel fortresses here in the Twelveswood. Let none be mistaken. The Garleans remain the greatest threat to our survival. If we are to stand against them, we must remember what it is to be united. Our many troubles blind us to the woes of our fellow man. Thence is harmony lost. Yet harmony is the founding principle of Gridania. We are gathered here to honor the fallen. Let them be honored not only in word and thought, but through concerted action. I bid you, join hands with me once more beneath the Twin Adder standard. And together, let us heal the forest's wounds, that our progeny might live in harmony beneath these ancient boughs. For serenity, purity, and sanctity. We must think of the children!
Woods will be done.
It's up to us to protect the
Follow
forest.
the elementals!
And thus, the Elder Seedseer's speech has come to an end. And so, this Remembrance service has come to a close here in Gridania. Yeah, we'll be hearing more from these twins as we go to the other cities as well. In fact, they're going to continue their conversation right now, alongside me.
If you'll permit me, Alfie no.
Yeah, formal introduction.
And my sister, Alize, at your service.
Service?
I saw at a glance that you were a fellow traveler.
Indeed.
You might call us students of history, sampling the realm's remembrances in pursuit of enlightenment.
Well, I certainly wish you two the best of luck. And we will, of course, see the two of you again. Hey, it stopped raining. The Gridanians are unfortunate enough to have to contend with two beast tribes. The Ixal are unquestionably the more troublesome, being of a naturally warlike disposition, and wont to summon their bloodthirsty primal Garuda. The Sylphs, by contrast, are peaceful in nature, being mischievous rather than malevolent, and have long been on friendly terms with the Gridanians. Until recently, at least. Alas, they have grown aloof, a change observed at roughly the time they summoned the primal Ramu. The Gridanians have no love for war, and they consider open conflict a last resort. Well, they certainly lead a pacifist life, I guess. Though they clash with the Ixal ever more regularly, you may be assured that they do so in self-defense. As for the Sylphs, they are as yet bound by a peace treaty, though one wonders how long it will be before it is broken. The Twelveswood was grievously wounded during the calamity, leaving Gridania vulnerable to attack. The people are hopeful that restoring the wood, and thereby the power of the elementals, will put an end to their woes. How long will that take? Centuries, I'd wager. Meanwhile, the Ixal will continue their incursions, spurred on by Garuda and her insatiable appetite for destruction. Whether the Gridanians like it or not, sooner or later it will come to all-out war, and when it does, the Order of the Twin Adder will need all the help it can muster. How valuable might the aid of a capable adventurer prove to them then? And how did you know what I was doing, or possibly doing? Perhaps we will find out if the Elder Seedseer's words fell on fertile ground. Yeah, he does all the talking, she doesn't say a word. Yeah, let the boy do the talking. And so, off go the twins. And off we shall go to our next destination, because now with the Elder Seedseer's speech completed and her remembrance service now finished, we can now move on to the next city, which is going to be Ul'dah. So I will see you guys in Ul'dah, and so where we will meet the general and have the second remembrance service. So be right back. Okay, so we've now arrived in Ul'dah and are now at the steps of the Royal Palace where the second Remembrance service will take place. So let's go ahead and take the opportunity to meet up with the people of Ul'dah as they bear witness to the Remembrance service led by General Reborn of the Immortal Flames. So as people start filing in... yes, there's the general, accompanied by the actual head of state here in Ul'dah. Yeah, the general is not the head of state. That distinction belongs to the little Lalafell, the Sultana.
Hark you, souls of flame, drawn to the bosom of the desert, where the fire burns brightest and shall rage forevermore. Hurrah! Reborn! Where since antiquity, under the sage and judicious rule of the Ul dynasty, we have wrought sand into gold, where by the grace and glory of Nalthal have our brave sons and daughters flourished and prospered. I speak of Ul'dah!
There.
Yeah, he's back.
General's back.
But we knew they would be.
Standard. Note the sigil. The golden scales of order balance the jewel of prosperity with the flame of might.
Great and many are the gifts our nation has given the realm. In Eorzea's darkest hour, on the killing fields of Cartano, none spent more in blood and gold than we. Thus was the 7th Imperial Legion laid low.
So that's how it happened. How soon history forgets.
Yet many left our gates, never to return. Let us pray for our absent brothers and sisters, that they might know happiness in the great beyond, as Thal's honored guests. If the fates were fair, the price we paid that day would have bought us victory. Alas, they are not. And now, but 5 years into this 7th Umbral era, the spirit of sacrifice which granted us our strength is all but dead. Look around you. What do you see? A people divided, downtrodden and enthralled. Where are the merciful alms of the rich? Where is the just steel of the righteous? I ask you, is this the great nation our brothers and sisters gave their lives to save? You who call this living, dishonor the name of the immortal flames. It is but a slow death. Our enemies surround us. The savage hordes of the Amalja wait beside our roads, strangling the lifelines of trade. Meanwhile, the Garleans make mock of our borders and despoil our land of its natural wealth. We stand on a precipice, yet we do not act. Whether trader or soldier, monetarist or royalist, all must recognize that a divided Ul'dah stands to fall. Victory and fortune walk hand in hand. Ye who seek glory and wealth, look not to what little you can snatch from your neighbor, but to the boundless wealth of the world beyond. Now is the time to unite. Now is the time to ride forth. In the name of the Sultana, I beseech you. Line not your own coffers, but those of the immortal flames. Seek not to prosper from Ul'dah, but to restore her to prosperity. As the realm prospers, so shall Ul'dah. As Ul'dah prospers, so shall her people.
Ya for Ul'dah!
Together we are one.
And now, a few words from the Sultana.
Your grace.
Reborn?
Sultana Nanamo Ulnamo. So now it's time for her to say something.
People of Ul'dah, I, Nanamo, 17th in the line of Ul, address you. Much has been made of the wealth of Ul'dah. Yet those who measure that wealth in coins and carats are gravely deceived. For the true wealth of Ul'dah lies in the health, happiness, and hopes of her people. Beloved subjects, I bid you raise aloft the torch of Ul'dah, that her flames might serve as a beacon for all Eorzea to see.
Long live Nanamo!
Glory to the sun!
victory and fortune. Stride fearless into the inferno, for we are, by fire, reborn!
And so, not one impressive speech, but two, from the General and from the Sultana. So let's speak with the... Yeah, some other again off a note. Is your sister gonna say something this time? No, I guess not. Can't win them all. The Uldons have a long history of conflict with the Emolja, the beast tribe that worships the primal Ifrit. Judging by the look of your distaste, I take it you have encountered them. Yes, I have. The Uldons do not shy from confrontation. If aught threatens their precious prosperity, they will seek to crush it. So they have dealt with Ifrit thus far, smothering his flames each time he is stoked to life. Yet he is but one of several problems. Though they have been quiet these past 5 years, the Garleans have not gone away. Meanwhile, refugees continue to arrive in droves, and Uldar has no clear policy on how to deal with them. After all, not even the Sultanate's coffers are bottomless, and even assuming that they had the coin, resources will ever be finite. Which brings me back to the subject of Ifrit. It has been observed that the Emolja are summoning him with ever-increasing frequency. Every time they do so, the Uldons send their forces to smite the Primal, and though they invariably succeed, each victory is bought with blood. It is a war of attrition which they cannot well sustain. Small wonder then that the Immortal Flames are eager to recruit more members. At such a desperate hour, an adventurer of your experience would be a most welcome addition to their ranks. Like, where are you going? Like, we were having a conversation here, Alice. I don't know if you were paying attention to that. But yeah, she seems completely disinterested with what her brother is doing. Definitely evil twin material. Yeah, methinks I cannot help but wonder if Alice could be an evil twin from which great fear and disaster could occur. Well, we'll try and understand that once we get to that point, if we ever do. Because, yeah, who knows what these two will ultimately be doing. So, well, we know where they're going next, and that, of course, is to Limsa Lominsa, just like I am. So, I will meet you guys in Limsa Lominsa, where we will bear witness to the third and final Remembrance ceremony. So, be right back. Okay, we have made it back now to Limsa Lominsa, where we will speak with Xanthel and get the third and final Remembrance service underway. Here to attend the Remembrance service, be quick, the Admiral is due to give her address at any moment. Well, then let's not waste any time, for we must hear what the Admiral will have to say. How will she perform her address? The Elder Seedseer's was very calm and peaceful, and the General's was quite very, well, I wouldn't know how to describe his address. Let's just hope the Admiral is a little more, calmer, I guess. And so now, all eyes turn to her. Admiral Blofuswain?
Brothers and sisters of the sea, hearken unto me. Look upon this, our mighty crimson standard, and tell me your hearts do not swell with pride. "700 summers have come and gone since our forefathers first ran aground in this fertile bay. In that time, guided by the Mother of Oceans, Limsa Lominsa has grown from humble fishing village to uncontested ruler of the 5 seas and beyond.
5 seas? Aren't there supposed to be 7 seas? And guess who's back?
Did you look as the Admiral bid you? It is a rather stirring standard, I must say.
Is it?
The Crimson Field is meant to signify the blood of fallen crewmates, while the Black Longship represents a pirate vessel.
Oh, really?
When the Garlean Empire marched upon Eorzea, we assembled beneath the Maelstrom Standard, and our grand company was reborn. All answered the call, from the Knights of the Barracuda to Hilthier's bloody executioners. And together, we met our would-be conquerors upon the field of Cartano. That day, the world bore witness to the united strength of Limsa Lominsa. I swear to you, no army ever fought harder or with more courage. Yet many of ours did not survive. Join me now in remembering those who fought in the name of freedom and fell. May their souls be returned to the sea.
Freedom. Yes, they have always been rather fond of their freedom. Much as the beast tribes have. Small wonder. Beneath the surface, one would struggle to tell them apart.
It has been 5 long years since the calamity struck. 5 long years of tireless rebuilding. Yet still the wounds of the calamity fester and weep. But when I stand atop the mizzenmast and gaze out upon our battered and broken vessel, I see an undying spirit. Did we not build all this from the wreck of the Galadian all those centuries ago? Shall we not do so again? Yet there are those who would see this ship of ours sink beneath the waves of the restless Rotano. The Sahagin creep ashore seeking blood for their accursed god.
Those fishbuck
The Sahagin
bastards.
have risen?
While the mines of Ogomoro spew forth kobolds who push ever south, despoiling our lands as they go. These savage beast tribes will be the first waves to crash against our creaking hull. And behind them swells the grim tide of the Garlean Empire. Even now the curs fly their flags within our borders. Doubt not, but that they will be upon us ere long. We are well nigh surrounded. Yet there are those among us who would rather turn their swords against their crewmates than our cannons against our foes. How can we hope to repel our many enemies when mutiny breeds below deck? There is but one course left to us. One bearing that will bring us victory over the beast hordes and the Empire both, and see this ship safe to port. We must mend the rift the calamity has reopened twixt pirate and maelstrom, and stand fast with our adventurer brothers against the coming tempest. Mark ye well, a crew without unity is no crew at all. 'Tis but a mass of drowned men. To me, then, brothers and sisters of the sea, gather beneath the undying crimson standard, and pledge me your strength, your skill, your wisdom. And with the guidance of the navigator, this great vessel of ours shall ride the waves, till sea swallows all!
Long live the Admiral!
Admiral Mervyn!
Gather the lads!
Oh, where's me cutlass?
Well, certainly a dramatic conclusion to her speech, as she makes her departure. So now let's hear what the twins had to say about this particular ceremony. Well, one of them anyway.
Fancy meeting you again.
Oh, of course. Yeah, where did you think we were gonna go? Yes, we really must stop seeing each other like this. As the Admiral mentioned in her address, Limsa Lominsa is plagued by 2 beast tribes. The first are the fish-like Sahagin, worshippers of the primal Leviathan.
And the second are the kobolds, who dwell beneath the earth and take the primal titan for their god. As if the beast tribe's presence weren't troublesome enough, the Garleans have also chosen to erect a fortress right in the Lominson's backyard. In fact, we actually saw that fortress back on day 14. And that is to say naught of internal strife. As a nation of pirates, there is no end to the blood feuds between the various factions, and while they fight amongst themselves, the Garleans whet their blades and watch. If the Lominsons are to have any hope of withstanding the Empire, they must first resolve their own affairs. Differences must be set aside and the primal threat dealt with once and for all. To this end, I expect that they will soon take decisive action against the beast tribes. Mark my words, the Maelstrom standard will be drenched a deeper shade of crimson ere long. That a capable adventurer like you would be a valuable addition to their crew is beyond question. And so, the twins take their leave. So, now we understand what the three city-states and their various grand companies are about. We now have to go back to Ul'dah and further to Thanalin in order to speak with Lady Minfilia to render our decision on which grand company we will be associating ourselves with. And so, I will join you guys back in Thanalin, back at Vesper Bay, at the Waking Sands, to speak with Lady Minfilia, so be right back. Oh, but before we do, Edie, this is Minfilia. You are well, I hope? Would I be correct in thinking that the final Remembrance service is now concluded? A moment ago, you say? What a coincidence! Jesting aside, I trust you remember our guests from the Grand Companies? Well, delighted though we are to have them here at the Waking Sands, it would not do to keep them in suspense any longer than necessary. In short, hurry back! And so I'll meet you guys back at the Waking Sands, so be right back. Okay, so we are now back here at the Waking Sands, so let's talk to Lady Minfilia. Welcome back, Edie. Were the Grand Company's leaders' words as illuminating as you had hoped? Aye, each nation is beset with problems. I trust you see now why your services are in such demand. Well, that there were more of you, Edie. Indeed. But you must be tired from your journey. Why don't you rest a while and take a moment to reflect upon your decision? Once your mind is made up, pray give the Grand Company officers your answer. And so, this challenge is completed, and I get to take the money. And so, now comes the ultimate decision. Which of the three Grand Companies should I align myself with? The Order of the Twin Adder in Gridania, the Immortal Flames in Ul'dah, or the Maelstrom in Limsa Lominsa? Well, while we're pondering that decision, let's see how the twins are doing.
The gods only know what grand company our adventurer friend will keep. The wheels of change are in motion regardless.
Brother, are you certain this course is best?
Whatever do you mean, dear sister?
Yeah, the brother the optimist, the sister the pessimist.
The so-called Remembrance ceremonies were little more than standard waving rallies.
Yeah, you're definitely a hippie, Miss Alice.
As though the Calamity and Seventh Umbral Era warranted scarcely a mention.
Well, of course they were standard waving rallies.
Yeah, that's how Remembrance Day ceremonies are supposed to work.
Since you are so observant, mayhap you noticed what mention was made of the Warriors of Light? None. I suppose they must have forgotten the heroes who spared Eorzea a fate worse than the Calamity?
It's a wonder they hardly get any mention at all in this Let's Play.
No, dear Alice, they haven't forgotten these details. They have elected to omit them. Deep are the wounds the Calamity inflicted upon Eorzea. So deep, in fact, that the realm still bleeds. Needless to say, the beast tribes and their primals do little to alleviate the pain. So, the task of salving Eorzea's wounds falls to the scions of the Seventh Dawn, with a little help from our friends, the Grand Companies. Remembrance will yield no remedy. If our world is to heal, we must put the horrors of the calamity behind us.
Our grandfather would never entrust the fate of the realm to despots who rewrite history to their convenience.
Wow. Yeah, someone obviously is not happy with how things are going. Even if it's for the good. And so, the twins are separated.
There must be another way to cure what ails this world, and I mean to find it.
You are most welcome to try. Our paths may differ, but our destination is the same. In time, I dare say we will see eye to eye.
Let's hope you're right about that, Mr. Alphino.
So,
My lady! We are to escort you!
Escort her?
Hope does not come into it. We share the burden of this fate, dear sister, and will prevail together or not at all. The salve will serve not only to close up our present wounds, but prevent old ones from opening anew.
Well, let's hope the twins can find some common ground. 'Cause yeah, one of them is definitely not willing to follow her brother. And so now comes the ultimate decision. Which of the three grand companies should I align myself with? That answer will come tomorrow. Yeah, I'm gonna leave you guys in suspense because we accomplished the mission that Lady Memphidia wanted us to do, which was to go to the 3 remembrance ceremonies, and so that's exactly what we did. But tomorrow, I will be giving myself to one of these 3 grand companies. And so, which one will I be aligning myself with? Well, you'll just have to wait and find out tomorrow. So with that, I'd like to thank everyone for watching the continuation of Let's Play Final Fantasy XIV: A Realm Reborn. And when I join you again, I will render my decision and take on my first official task with my grand company that I ultimately decide upon. So until next time everyone, this is Matthew at Novora Autism, saying take care, and I'll see you soon.